Shalom. I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Ha, Racha Kodash, Ma'amah. Double honors to the elder apostles of GMS and the elders. Double honors to my elder, Aharawan Ban Yasharala of the Lions Den Camp here in Jacksonville, Florida. Salutations to the sincere Akim, pushing his truth and sincerity around the four corners of this earth. I'm Nakar Harab Ban Yasharala, coming out of the Lions Den Camp of Yasharala, located here in Jacksonville, Florida. And today I'll be coming out a lesson on this here article. And it says Putin proposes direct peace talks with Ukraine after 3 years of war. And of course, though war is looming and war is on the horizon, you still have a lot of these other nations and people trying to de-escalate and hoping that it won't happen. But that is what's going to happen, because thus saith Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai, the second woe is past and the third woe cometh quickly. Yahweh Shai himself, when he was here, he said we was going to hear of wars and rumors of wars, nations against nations and kingdom against kingdom. The Lord told us what? To be not troubled. See that ye be not troubled. Why? Because these things must first come to pass, but the end is not yet. So let's continue. I'm not going to read all of this article. I'm going to read just the main part of it, because it gets down into conjecture after you get down so far with the, is it this or is it, how they, But it says Russian President Vladimir Putin on Sunday proposed direct talks with Ukraine aimed at ending the war, an initiative welcomed by the Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky, who said Kiev was willing to talk, but Moscow must agree to a ceasefire. So why does Moscow have to agree to a ceasefire and not Ukraine? But let's continue. It says Putin sent thousands of troops into Ukraine in February of 2022, unleashing a war that has killed hundreds of thousands of soldiers and triggered the gravest confrontation between Russia and the West since 1962, since the 1962 Cuban Missile Crisis. But it was really Babylon America that did this. But let's continue. It says with Russian forces grinding forward, the Kremlin chief has offered few, if any, concessions so far, but has proposed talks with Ukraine in the Turkish city of Istanbul that he said would be held without preconditions and aimed at a durable peace. It says we are proposing that Kiev resume direct negotiations without any preconditions, Putin has said in a televised statement from the Kremlin at 1:30 a.m. on Sunday. We offer the Kiev authorities to resume negotiations on Thursday in Istanbul. It says Zelensky has said in a statement it was a positive sign that Russians, not Russia, right, but Russians. So it's the Russians that's fighting the war. It's not Russia, okay? It was a positive sign that Russians have finally begun to consider ending the war. The very first step in truly ending any war is a ceasefire. We expect Russia to confirm a ceasefire, lasting and reliable, or full lasting and reliable, starting tomorrow on May 12th, which is really the next day, and Ukraine is ready to meet, he said. Yeah. This seems like it's a one-sided deal. But let's continue. It says President Trump, who says he wants to be remembered as a peacemaker, he won't be remembered as that. I am so sorry. He wants to be remembered as a peacemaker, has repeatedly promised to end the war. Said it was a great day dawning for Russia and Ukraine if the bloodbath of the war could be ended. This is a potentially great day for Russia and Ukraine, Trump said on Truth Social. Think of the hundreds of thousands of lives that will be saved as this never-ending bloodbath hopefully comes to an end. It wouldn't be a bloodbath if America wouldn't have stepped in with their tomfoolery. Let's continue. I'm gonna end it about right here. It says Putin's proposal for direct talks with Ukraine came hours after a major European power or European powers demanded on Saturday that Putin agreed to a unconditional 30-day ceasefire or face massive new sanctions. Putin is the date. Yeah, okay. Putin dismissed what he said was the attempt by some European powers to lay down ultimatums, so he just brushed it off. That's that old American bullcrap way, you know. But since Putin said that he does not rule out that during his proposed talks in Turkey, both sides will agree on some new truces and a new ceasefire. But one that would be the first step towards some sustainable peace. So, you know, they looking for peace. And of course, you know, Babylon America used Ukraine as a proxy, and Russia has been whooping the sugar honey iced tea out of Ukraine. So yes, Vladimir Zelensky is really, really up for peace talks because America don't help him no more. So, but nonetheless, I got a couple of scriptures. Jeremiah 50, verse 22. It says, a sound of battle is in the land and of great destruction. And that's what's going on. We are seeing the world get prepared for war. A sound of battle is in the land, and it's going to be of a great destruction. It's going to cause widespread destruction. Not saying the whole earth is going to be completely and utterly destroyed, but the earth is going to suffer, you know, from this war, from the great destruction that's going to hit this place, that's going to cause it to shake to and fro like a drunkard, real to and fro, so like a drunkard out of his place. Meaning, that's the Lord using his weapons of indignation, his armory that he's opened up, those arrows that's going to hit Babylon America, that's going to cause disaster in other places as well. But nonetheless, we're in times of war, and people are trying to seek peace. But this is what the scriptures say. First Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 3. It says, for when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction shall come upon them, as travail upon a woman with child, they shall not escape. So when it comes down to it, right, when they think, oh, we are reaching peaceful deals, everything is just going so well and so right, you know, when they think, oh, it's finally peaceful, that's when sudden destruction is going to come upon them, upon this place, upon the earth. And people are going to travail in this destruction, with this destruction, like a woman travailing with a child, like a woman in giving having birthing pain, getting ready to bring forth a child. And when this destruction comes, if you're not of Yahweh Bahasham Yahushua, you have not been following the laws, the statutes, the commandments to the best of your ability. You have not been praying in the true names, Yahweh and Yahushua. You have not been rightly dividing the word of truth. You have been allowing corrupt communication to come out of your mouth. Well, you're not going to escape that judgment. The ungodly is not going to escape this judgment. That's why this judgment is coming. The wicked and the ungodly will suffer in this judgment. Right, when they think everything is good, peace and safety, that's when sudden destruction is going to come. And they're going to travail like a woman with a child, and they're not going to be able to escape. So we may see more of these things, more articles or news videos or segments, whatever, talking about peace, but there is not going to be any peace. When the true peace happens, it'll be the Heavenly Father through his Son bringing peace to the earth. That's when peace is going to come. When Israel, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, the speckled birds, it's not about color. That is when there's going to be true peace on the earth. That is when the earth will know war no more. But right now, war is afoot. And it's going to become ever more manifest in the eyes of people. You ain't going to be able to avoid it for too long. But with that, shalom.